So tonight's film was one I've been looking forward to actually since last year, when I watched Diane Keaton, Diane Keaton's film Hanging Up, which starred Meg Ryan, and I was like, where has Meg Ryan been? And I was reading about her, and it turns out she'd been making a film. So I've been looking forward to this since last January. This film finally got released um, this weekend in a handful of theaters, plus also on VOD, which is how I watched it. Um, it's an adaptation of William Saroyan's The Human Comedy, which was also made into a film in 1943 and starred Mickey Rooney. He received an Oscar nomination. The film was nominated for Best Picture. It's quite a good film. Ithaca, Meg Ryan's iteration, is not the greatest film. It looks beautiful. It's gorgeously shot by Andrew Dunn, cinematographer, and has some pretty affecting performances, especially from the lead, I can't say his last name, Alex Neustaedter, who is in the Rooney role, and Sam Shepard, who is always good. Sam Shepard is like a gift that keeps on giving, both in terms of acting, writing, and being a goddamn babe. So, like, he can do no wrong. The problem with the film is that it's really disjointed and just sort of uneven tonally. I think it was trying to go for sort of a folklorish feel, as if you're watching a tale, but it never quite feels that. Like it's almost there. And it has a great score by John Mellencamp. And really, some of the best stuff is when Ryan is focusing on children. And I've read some interviews with her basically saying she wanted to adapt this novel as from the point of view of a mother feeling these feelings about the death of children and even grown children dying in war. And that this was a feeling that she, as a mother, could feel and could understand that mothers would feel in a way that others wouldn't. And that's really why she wanted to tell this story. And you can see her reverence for children, especially when she's shooting the youngest child, played by Spencer Howell. He looks like a little angel running through a field. He's like the cutest little kid ever. And those moments are great. And if the whole movie was just those sort of moments, if it would feel much more solid as a film. Unfortunately, that it doesn't focus on that. And I guess focus is the real problem here. Is the film just it never I hate to use these phrases, but it just really never gels. It never it's never solid. It's never you're never really sure what it's trying to say or what she wants you to get from this film. Instead, it's like a bunch of vignettes. But even say like a short story compendium generally has sort of an overarching feel to it where you're like, yeah, I see why all these short stories went together in this in this book. But this has that feeling of little vignettes, but it never feels like an overall piece of work. I don't know if it was an editing problem or if the script has issues, or I'm not really sure. I can't really tell where the problem is. But I read one review that basically said it's just good enough that you wish it was better. And I feel that because there's some moments that are really great. And if the whole thing was as good as the few moments, it would be a solid film. So I can't say that it's a bad film because I don't think it's a bad film. I just am not sure that it succeeds in what it wants to be because I'm not sure it knows what it wants to be. And I think part of that is Ryan's sort of greenness at being a director. I think it shows promise, and hopefully she's not dismayed by its really tepid reception and tries to make another film, because she's definitely got a knack for it if she can just get over the hurdle of like figuring out what she wants to say and actually getting the film to do that. To be honest, it feels like maybe if she'd made a short film, and then another short film. Like if she'd made a few short films first and built up to a feature, she might have been able to figure out the ABCs of storytelling a little bit better. That said, I'm looking forward to more from her because I love Meg Ryan and I want her to succeed. So that's my... Oh, and it was filmed in Petersburg, Virginia. Petersburg, Virginia is the hometown of the one and only Mr. Joseph Cotten, Joseph Cheshire Cotton. He is one of my faves, and I'm actually going to go visit Petersburg, Virginia in a little bit so I can go see all the places that this film was filmed in. Isn't that nutty? So anyways, this was Meg Ryan's Ithaca. I feel like you should support it to support it. It's only $6 to rent it on Amazon. It's not the greatest film of all time, but it's also not the worst film I've ever seen. Enjoy.